Hi everybody, and welcome to part 2 of our 4-part mini-series on the origins of Christmas. Now, in our last video, we talked about the shepherds that were at the Nativity. In this video, we're going to talk about the other guys that were there, the Magi. Who were the Magi? Probably some of you have never even heard that word before, Magi, but you have heard the famous Christmas song, "We three kings of Orient are." So some people think that they were kings. Now other people think that they were wise guys, knock, knock, knock. And other people thought that they were magicians. Oh my goodness, last week we had cowboys and now we've got magicians. And the next thing you know, the manger scene is going to have crazy circus elephants in it. In truth, they were actually the three wise guys. The three wise men. Now, these three wise men were actually astrologers and astronomers. So these were people that were very skilled at studying the stars in the sky. And they were astrologers because they believed that the stars could predict what was going to happen in the future. So that's like how today we have astrology, but we call it the horoscope. So you've probably seen your mom or dad pick up the newspaper and they say to themselves, "Oh, I'm a Scorpio, and today it says that I'm going to win the lottery." Well, we know that that hardly ever happens. But this time with the wise men, they actually did win the lottery. And they predicted that the King of the Jews was about to be born. So they followed the stars that led them to the nativity scene. And that star was what we know as the Star of Bethlehem. So many of us have heard that there were the three wise men or the three kings that went. But were there really three or were there more? Well, in the Orthodox tradition, we believe that there were up to 12 of these Magi or wise men. And in the West, they believe that there was only 3, although some kind of believe it's 4. So it could have been any number. So this group of wise men is following this Star of Bethlehem, expecting now to greet a king. Can you imagine the surprise on their faces when they come to now this lowly barn, which is probably smelling of animals, and there's this little kid that's there, and they're thinking, this is the King of the Jews, surrounded by these shepherd cowboys? So even though they were surprised, they still gave Jesus the gifts that they brought for the king. Now, the Bible tells us that they brought 3 gifts. Now, this is probably where we get the idea that there were 3 wise men. There could have been more gifts, we don't know. But the Bible tells us 3 important ones. Gold, because gold was one of the most precious metals that they had and was honored for a king to have. And the second gift was frankincense. And all that is the incense. It's the same exact incense that I use in the church when I have my censer. And it has that lovely sweet smell. It's really, really nice. And that is what kings have around them, that very wonderful smell. And the third gift was myrrh. Now, myrrh is oil, and they gave them that gift for 2 reasons. Number 1, they gave it because all kings were always anointed with oil. Now, this is very similar to what we have on Holy Wednesday when the priest gives you the holy oil on your forehead. That's to anoint you, but it's also because each one of us is a priest. The other reason why they gave the myrrh is because the myrrh is what they use when somebody dies, and they spread that myrrh on the body, and that was telling that Jesus would eventually die and be resurrected. Now you know why the shepherds were there, you know why the Magi were there, but in our next video we're going to get to the best part of Christmas. We're going to talk about the King of the Jews, and we're going to talk about who he was and why he was so important that all of these people wanted to be there to worship him.